Hi, welcome to Salt and Burn This. I'm Sammy.
And I'm Valerie.
And this is our Supernatural Rewatch podcast.
Each week, we're going to break down an episode in order with lots of details, so nothing's left out.
And we throw in some personal nuggets and stories and research to mix it up just a little bit.
Because not only are we fans of the show, but like Sam and Dean, we've also had our fill of road trips.
Yeah, but for theater, not for hunting ghosts and demons.
And not in a super sexy muscle car.
Anyway, shall we?
We shall. Cut that out. So my quick little story.
Yes, I was just about to ask, what was yours?
I drove home last night from yesterday. No, I drove home yesterday morning because I had a rehearsal. I had to do an in-studio rehearsal for the dance show. And so I got home and was just like frantically trying to update all the paperwork based on the rehearsal I just saw, because I just want to get it out of the way. And I don't know if you remember, but like maybe 2 months ago, I had like a bee swarm removed.
Yes.
From so I had the, beekeeper come out and he removed like 30,000 bees. And I thought that the bees would kind of, whatever leftover bees were there would be like, oh, where's the queen? And they would fly away.
Yeah.
Well, I think a new queen moved in because the bees are like, woo, so they're back, which is fine. Love the bees. So every once in a while, a bee will make its way into my apartment. And it's usually at night. For some reason, I think it's because if I have my lights on, they're like, oh, it's daytime, and they come in here. And so I let them like buzz around until they're too tired and they fall. So I scoop them up and I throw them back outside. I'm not going to trap a buzzing bee, but once they're like, woof, I'm tired, I can scoop them up and throw them back outside. So, and I'm like, save the bees, one bee at a time.
Yeah. So
last night there was a bee flying around and I was like, oh, and I was waiting for it to do its thing, and it got tired, and so I threw it outside, and next thing I know, it's like flying back inside, and I thought I'd even close the door a little bit more, but the bee made it back in. I was like, son of a bitch. And then I was doing my notes and I was watching Supernatural just to like put it back in my head, finish Supernatural, and then I started watching Bridgerton.
Yes. I love Bridgerton.
I just finished the third season, but I went back and I was kind of watching the second season. I just kind of had it on in the background. The second one is when the guy's father, the prince's father, or the duke's father dies from a bee sting.
Yeah.
Right? Do you remember that?
Yeah. There's no third season. Are you watching Queen Charlotte? Is that what you're watching?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So this bee came back and I'm like, fine, just exhaust yourself. And I'm, typing up my notes and stuff. And I lost track of the bee. And I was like, huh. And I didn't see it. And I felt something on my arm, and I did the, brush type of thing. And there was nothing there. And then the motherfucking bee stung me. It stung me, and I was like, ow, and I'm yelling at this bee who's now laying next to me because I must have
dying.
A little bit. And I was like, why would I'm literally yelling at the bee? Why would you do that? I just saved you. I put you outside. You come back inside and sting me, and now you're dying. So this bee, and I scoop him up and I throw him back outside. I pull the stinger out, and I'm like, oh, son of a. It's fine. It just hurt for like a bee sting. Yeah. I'm not allergic to bee stings, and so it's just more of a ouchie.
Yeah.
And I was like, son of a bitch, fucking stupid bee. And that's exactly when I looked up on the screen on TV where the dad gets
he's like dying.
And he's like holding his neck, and I was like, I'm like,
wow.
like looking at my watch.
That's
I'm
so
like,
weird. That is really weird.
And then 2 more bees flew in, and I said, you know what? Peace out.
Yeah.
I said I should go to bed, because I forgot to mention that in the son of a bitch bee stinging, I kicked over my wine glass. So I had to clean up the wine, and I have one of those like pet vacs with that does like water,
a spot cleaner kind of thing.
Yeah, spot cleaner. Well, the little boop boop spot sprayer thing stopped working, and I was like, you know what? Done. Put it down. Closed the door. Went to bed. I was like, the universe is trying to tell me something.
Yeah.
But
maybe you should get those bees removed again.
Yeah. Well, I'm leaving in a couple weeks, so maybe I'll just let them do their thing, and when I get back, I'll have them removed. Why would you sting me? I'm the one who's saving you. One bee at a time.
All right, season 4, episode 16, On the Head of a Pin. Can torture be God's work? After 7 angels are mysteriously murdered, Castiel and Uriel demand that Dean use the agony-inducing skills he learned in Hell to extract information from Alastair. Written by Ben Udland and directed by Mike Roll.
Titles, I got to talk about titles real quick. So how many angels fit on the head of a pin is an adage, is a question. Which is, of course, the name of this episode is On the Head of a Pin. So, but what it means is it's basically a nonsensical question. Like, why are we wasting time trying to answer this question when it doesn't matter?
Ah.
That's what that is. When somebody says, hey, well, the question is, how many angels can fit on the head of a pin? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's why ask the question? Why waste the time thinking about it? Because it's not going to bring you to any conclusion for anything. So that's what this is. It's like, why do this? Why ask the questions? Why send our characters down this path? It doesn't answer any questions. It doesn't solve any more, problems.
If anything.
Right. So that's what I thought was interesting about the head of the pin. Plus, it's literally on the nose with angels.
Yes, but I had never heard that adage before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you mentioned it the last time we recorded, and I was like, okay, this must be a thing that I am not aware of.
Yeah, angels on the head of, how many angels fit on the head of a pin?
Our recap, it's predictive in the way that there are so many things in this recap in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I mean, not just like what they show in the recap, but it was just like, oh my God, what? It's like an overload of information. So to kind of wrap it up in a nutshell, there's Lilith and the Seals and this whole storyline of the season. There's the introduction of angels as a whole, and then also Anna's introduction and exit, respectively. Alastair and Dean's like therapy talk about his time in Hell and torture and how he's feeling about it. Pamela's intro and exit. And also her little reveal that she knows what Sam is doing, kind of. And then Sam and Ruby fighting about what he has to do to keep up with his powers.
Right. So quick question just about Sam and his abilities. Like in the earlier seasons, it was all about his psychic ability as like he was getting flashes of premonitions and things like that. That's not him anymore. Premonitions is not his psychic gift anymore. His psychic gift is now the ability to like exercise demons and things like that.
Move things with his mind.
Yeah. So I was like, you would think that he'd be going, I wonder why I can't see the future anymore.
Yeah, I definitely think that was a writer thing because I remember in one of the commentaries from a while ago that eventually they weren't quite sure what to do with these psychic kids. Like they just kept calling them psychic kids, even though not all of them were psychic. But and then I think they tried to tie in, because remember there was the one episode where Sam could move things with his mind.
Yes.
You know, briefly, he wasn't quite sure how he did it. And then when we got to, I forget his name, but the guy who eventually ended up killing Sam, the soldier guy.
Yeah, the Aldous character,
Yes. How he mentioned like, oh, I can do a lot more than be super strong now. And even eventually all of the ones who got further and further down the demon path, they could do more
they trained
things.
And they could do more.
Yes.
Got it.
So
got
I think maybe they're pulling from that and they're just hoping everyone forgot that he could see the future.
Right. Yeah. So I just want to point out this episode gets dark quick. Oh, we've been talking about why isn't the plot moving along? Like what's happening with Supernatural? Like where's this demon arc going? And then in this episode, I was like, no.
Oh, here it is. All of
it
is
at once. All of it in your face. And that's the first thing I wrote down was, damn, that got dark quick.
Yeah, especially since like the 3 previous ones were a little loosey-goosey. They were kind of one-offs, with the exception of the Reapers being a part of the Seals journey. There's only been a tiny little drop of the main storyline in almost all of the episodes previous to this, with the exception of maybe a couple solid ones. But anyway,
this is like, let's just punch you in the face with all the stuff.
Yep. Okay, so it opens up on a giant car crash with all the car horns blaring all at once.
Smashed windshields, lights are flashing.
Yeah. Cass enters and puts a stop to all the noise. He approaches a tragically beautiful woman dead on the pavement with a stab wound to her chest, and gives a solemn goodbye, says, "Goodbye, sister."
So he knows her.
Yes. Right before all the cops show up.
Right. There's nobody else there, though.
Yeah, it's just him and her.
And this beautiful dead woman in white with the stab wound. As the cops show up, cops, ambulances, fire trucks show up to this accident. Cass disappears, and the camera pulls back to show us more of the accident scene as the cops run in, and they go, "What the hell?" And then we see what they're looking at, and it's this beautiful overhead crane shot.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wrote. I was like, this shot was beautiful.
Beautiful shot. It's a rainy night, so the pavement is wet, so it's a little bit sparkly because of the lights, and there's this woman's tragic body beautifully laid out. And as the camera pulls further and further back, you see that there's like this burn mark of giant wings. So the same wings that we saw Castiel unfurl as a shadow when we first meet him are now like burned into the pavement, like they've unfurled from this woman's body, and she's laying on burnt out shadow angel wings.
Yeah, and she's in white, like she's the woman in white, not the ghost kind, but dead woman kind on the black pavement. So it makes an even more striking image with this. So here we see the first angel death. And again, I have to say they really did angels well with these like mysterious wings showing up in shadow form or burn mark form.
Huge. Like this is the first time I've seen wings that would match the body of a human.
Yes. Yeah. They're not just
as opposed to like little cherub wings. Right. Right. No Victoria's Secret wings here. No. These are massive and they're gorgeous.
Yes. Okay. So now we get to our boys.
Yep. Driving and talking.
Well, this is, I think, shortly after Pamela's death, because it's still fresh in their mind. They're talking about it. They're talking about their next steps to continue this journey. Sam is really stuck on Lilith here. He's like, no, he's finally confided in Dean. Oh, I've been talking to Ruby, and she's given us a lead. Yeah. Dean is just kind of over all of it. He's like, I don't care. Fine, whatever.
This is like a continuation of the character switch. Where Dean is pessimistic about saving the world, and Sam is like, no, we gotta do this thing.
So they get to their motel room, and who is there to meet them but their favorite people, Cass and Uriel.
Uriel's still a dick, and Cass is even quieter than usual.
Yeah, and Dean notices it.
Cass is literally and figuratively in the background of all of this.
Yeah. So Uriel is giving Dean orders. They need him to go on yet another mission, even though they just came from one. Because remember, Cass is the one who said, "Oh, I faked Bobby into bringing you here so you could do this Reaper thing, etc., etc." Yep. Dean's just had enough. He is on fight mode. He's just ready to fucking lunge at Uriel, and Sam is kind of trying to sort of be the mediator, being like, okay, hold on.
What are you telling us to do?
We just got it from a funeral of our friend, and it was kind of your fault. So let's just sit and discuss what you want us to do. Yeah. Uriel kind of goes right into it. He's like, we have Alastair.
Yeah.
And we don't care about your feelings. We just need to get some information from Alastair.
We need answers. Angels are dying. Angels are being murdered.
Yes.
Is what he says. Yeah. Angels have been murdered. We don't know how or why. And they have Alastair, but he's not talking. So we need Dean.
We need the guys student to help find a demon. The demon responsible for this. And we need the student of the master torturer to torture his master.
His master. Yeah, I mean, it's like we need it's basically we need the Padawan learner to go up against his Jedi master.
Yeah.
basically, except they used black belt, and that's, there's a whole kung fu
Yeah,
adage
I
in
know
this
nothing
episode.
about karate, so I'm not even going to touch that. Dean says, no, I can't do it, but they weren't asking, so they just whoosh him away.
Yep, son of a bitch. And Sam's Sam's
I love
left
that
by himself.
Yes, I feel like Jared was channeling Jensen.
Damn
it.
Damn it. Once again. So, and it's not the last time that this happens.
Yeah.
So the next thing we see is where they've taken Dean, which is like an old meat packing plant or something, which, why wouldn't you? Meat packing plant. And they have Alastair in a side room trussed up on a giant Star of David, pentagram-esque thing. So he's got his arms outstretched.
Well, those are two different things. I think it's a pentagram. A Star of David is a 6-pointed star. Yeah. Which I think this was a 5-pointed star.
Are you sure?
I'm not sure,
but it could just be where I was.
in the devil's trap that Cass made, which he says, this is a super special devil's trap. It's a Nokian, and I made it myself, and there's no way he can escape. So that one does look a little bit different than the one that we're used to seeing.
The way it was oriented. So, and because like a pentagram usually is a V, right, with a V pointing down, with the V at the bottom and the 2 points.
Oh, you mean an upside down star?
Yes.
I think I don't know. I'm actually gonna look this up while we're talking, but I won't stop and look it up.
Okay. So anyway, Alastair is trussed to this devil's trap, but also painted on the ground is, Enochian symbols and sigils and stuff like that, kind of like what the Reapers were trapped in. Not the same, but the idea is
there's a bunch now there's like a bunch of different kinds of devil's traps that are happening, or traps, I should say, not used. Just strictly.
But you're right. Cassiel says there's no way that Alastair can break out of this. I made it. It's unbreakable by demons. So he's trying to assure Dean that Dean is at least safe walking into the room. Dean is still saying, I can't do this. I don't want to do this. Uriel's still being a dick. And Dean says very specifically, let me talk to Castiel alone.
Yeah. Oh, you are right. It is a Star of David. It's both both the thing that he is strapped into and the little star on the ground in the circle. I don't know. I don't want to call it a Star of David because I feel like they're trying to have it be something else. But I mean, it's the shape of a Star of David.
Okay.
I guess in my head, I was like, why would they put him on a Jewish star? That seems...
It may just have something to do with the path of God and who David was.
Yeah, maybe.
So, I mean, that's something we could probably look up. I don't think it was deliberately the Star of David.
Yeah, I know, but I think because that's what people are going to associate that shape with.
So Uriel goes off to go find, not redemption, Revelation.
Revelation, which I kind of like. They're using that as I don't even know what to call it. Like, it wasn't just a pun, it's actually a thing that angels go to.
Yeah, I'm going to go meditate. I'm going to go
seek orders. He was like, I need to see if I can seek orders. And so that's like a meeting point or a starting point or a something.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just a cheeky little, I'm going to go seek revelation. It's like a physical thing. I'm going to go find revelation and see what they have to say.
Yeah. So now that Dean and Cass are alone, Dean is like, what's going on? What's really going on here? And why aren't you stepping up? Like, why are you taking orders from Uriel at this point? And Cass, reveals that he is experiencing more and more emotions, and that he's becoming connected to the humans that he's supposed to be watching over, or not watching over, but watching. Yeah. Specifically Dean.
Yeah. And so because of that, he's kind of losing his superior title a little bit, or his superiors are becoming more superior. Like, he's kind of on probation a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I did like, this is the one little clip of humor that we get in this episode, is before Uriel leaves, he's just like, oh man, this guy, he just doesn't stop. I'm starting to like him because Dean, he doesn't stop. He's just always, we see it in the interrogation rooms whenever he's caught by cops, he's just always quipping.
Yep.
And and then when he leaves, and Dean's like, man, I'm starting to think Drunkless has more humor than you do. And Cass very straight faced, and this is foreshadowing a future Cass that we will see.
Yes.
Uriel's the funniest angel in the garrison. Just ask anyone.
Ask anyone.
It's just
I wrote the exact same thing.
I said, of silence.
And then he's like, all right, we'll get back to this. Yeah. I wrote the exact same thing. The only humor in this episode, that's the exact same thing that I wrote. So, deadpan. Ask anyone.
Total deadpan.
But Dean, all humor aside, says, okay, you really don't want me to do this.
Yeah.
Once I go down this path again, I may not come back from this. Mm-hmm. Still wrestling with the fact that he enjoyed torturing once he started. So Dean is wrestling with the fact that he enjoyed it and that he had to do it. He was forced to do it. Mm-hmm. But he's like, you really don't want me to do this. And Castiel's response is, I don't want, I need.
Yeah.
We need this.
Yeah.
We need
it's like, this is the last thing that I want to ask of you. And it was odd because as strongly as Dean was like, I can't do this, I don't want to do it, then he does it. It's like, it doesn't take a lot of persuasion, in my opinion, for him to be like, okay, fine.
But I think that's the mark of an addict too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm clean and sober. I don't want to. And I can't help myself because it's right there. So I'm going to.
There are two addicts in this episode, honestly, because then we cut to another one, and I'm going to consolidate the scene that, because it does jump around between Dean and Sam and Dean and Sam.
Yeah.
But in a nutshell, Sam has called Ruby to come help with Dean's predicament.
Yep.
She does a locator spell to find where the angels are, even though she's like, I don't see the problem here because they're going to torture Alastair, which is a good thing for me.
Right. We'll get the answers.
Yep. Yeah, and the angels will be happy, which gets them off our back. So I'm not seeing the problem here.
Sam is like, Dean.
Yeah.
Remember my brother Dean that I love?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the problem. He's not strong enough to resist what's happening, and nor is he strong enough to succeed.
Yeah, I felt like Sam was more like, no, he's not strong enough to even do this.
To get the answer.
He doesn't. Yeah. So I need to do it, but in order to do it, I need my level up.
Yeah.
I don't want it, but I need to be stronger.
And we're like, what does that mean?
Yes. Now we finally get this answer, right? Because they've been hinting at it for so long that Sam has been doing something else besides
He's not
training,
just
exorcisms. Yeah,
he's not doing focal points with a crystal. He's not, practicing pulling demons out of people.
Yeah, it's not a physical training montage that he's been doing behind the scenes with Ruby. Instead, she straddles him.
Sexy time.
Kisses him, yes. And then it's like, oh, it's sex. That's the thing. No. She slices her arm open, and then he attaches himself to it like a vampire and just starts sucking her blood.
Sucks her blood. And she gives a knowing look, not to Sam, but she gives almost breaks the fourth wall. Like you could see that she would, if she could have looked at the camera, she would have been like,
yeah,
gotcha
very
where I
devilish
want ya.
face that she has.
So it wasn't okay, I'm helping my teammate get stronger.
Yeah.
There was something else in her eyes there.
There's definitely something else.
Ruby.
So now Sam has, even though he was disgusted at the fact that he had demon blood poured into his mouth as a baby, turns out that's the secret ingredient that juices him up.
Vitamins and minerals. Breakfast of champions. That's what Yellow Eyes said.
Exactly what he said.
Yep.
And now he's diving right into it. And now I wonder if you remember when Pam, right before she died, said, I know what you did to that demon, Sam. Mm-hmm. If she was talking about the one in the room where he just exercised it really quick, or if she was seeing into his mind, being like, I know what you've been doing with these demons. I don't know, but that would be interesting.
Sammy, that's good. A little double entendre.
Yes, and maybe that's what Sam's face was like, holy shit.
Right?
She's psychic. She can read my mind.
Yeah. Oh, busted. That's like when your parents are like, hand it over, and you're like, what? They're like, we know you have, we know you did this thing. It's like, how did they know?
Yeah.
How did my parents know that I, did did the thing.
If it's like my parents, they probably read your diary, but I know, right?
Oh, no, Sammy.
Can't trust anybody. Anyway, that's a whole nother topic.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole nother podcast series.
Yes,
So going back to Dean.
Yes, and now we're going to stick with Dean and Alastair for a while because there's so much.
There's some pretty fantastic writing in these scenes.
I agree.
So I do need to point out some of the things.
Yeah.
Initially, when Dean walks into the room, when he's like, fine, I'm going to do this. He walked into the room with a cart of, torture implements, and Alastair is singing, and he's singing, like
the Frank Sinatra wrong.
I'm in heaven. Yeah. And I'm in heaven when we're dancing cheek to cheek. That's exactly what did you see The Green Mile?
Yes, a long time ago, and
it's what the character is singing moments right before he's executed.
Oh,
when when the guards are coming to get him to bring him to the chair, he's singing "Heaven, I'm in heaven." And I was like, oh God, did Alastair see The Green Mile?
Yeah,
because he's basically waiting for to be killed. He knows that Dean is there to, torture him.
And also he's there like because of the angels. So, ooh, that's also a nice double entendre.
Yep. And this is also a very, Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker moment with Darth Vader being, the father who's like, all you have to do is get angry and strike me down, and then you'll travel closer to the dark side, which is essentially what Alastair is saying to Dean. Let your freak flag fly. Come on.
Yeah. And Dean throughout this whole thing seems pretty meditative and calm and composed. And what's the word that I want to use?
There's like a lack of emotion there. He's just focused on...
Yes, it's a little, not robotic, but methodical. He's very methodical.
Methodical, yes, very much so.
And there's a couple moments where Alastair does get to Dean. This first one is when he mentions Dad. He says, you're not really like your father. I did the same thing to your father. And then Dean literally just stops mid whatever he's doing, prepping the holy water or whatever. And then Alastair goes on a little sort of monologue. Or a
little exposition, yeah.
Yeah, he's just kind of teasing Dean he's teasing Dean.
Teasing him.
Saying like, well, I did the same thing to your father for 100 years.
You only made it. You only made it to what, 30, 40? I forget, 40.
30, because he spent the last 10 years doing the torture thing. But so it was like,
you weren't even as strong as your dad. Well, and it was, and supposedly it was supposed to be John all along to do whatever, Dean was then cast into hell to do.
Yeah.
So they focused, the demons focused on John until Dean got there.
Well, until John escaped, because he came out of the gates.
Oh, he broke the devil's trap. That's right. Yep.
So then Dean's playing around with the holy water. Alastair laughs at his use of holy water.
But torture, Dean's like,
listen, I spent a long time in hell thinking about this moment right here.
Yeah.
And I've got a lot of ideas. So instead of just, splashing some holy water on him, which is, amateur hour.
Bernie. Yep.
He pulls out a
syringe.
A syringe. Thank you. And then Alastair is like, oh shit.
this may not be as fun as I thought it was going to be. Yeah. And luckily we don't see what Dean does, but we know what he does because the camera pulls back to Castiel, who's in the other room, and we can hear Alastair screaming.
Yeah, and Cass does not have a pleasant face on.
No.
After we come back from a commercial break, Dean has finished doing that portion of whatever he was doing, and Al is he's had some damage done to him, but he's still pretty cheeky.
Yeah, it's like every time Dean pulls back to like go to the next torture thing, Alastair recovers and is like, all right, yeah, that hurt, but and then goes on with more teasing and taunting of Dean, no matter what's being done to his body. Because now Dean's pulled out the demon blade So they still have that. I wondered about that. I was like, where did that go?
Maybe the angels had it because, or maybe the writers even kind of forgot where it was because then Alastair was like, oh, I wondered where that thing went.
Voila.
Yeah.
We just wrote it into a scene. That's where it was. So Dean pours holy water on the demon blade and then proceeds to start carving Alastair up with that.
Yes, and speaking of carving, this line I also liked is when Dean slowly plunges it into his body. Not enough to kill him, but just to really hurt him.
Yep.
And Al is like, I carved you into a new animal, Dean.
Yeah, carving while you were carving. I have to mention that somebody...
I saw that on Twitter. It's the...
Twitter was like, I hated that guy's voice.
The Hopsgeek podcast.
Yeah. I was like...
One of them said, I hated it, and then the other one was like, no, but I also liked it, so...
Yeah, so I just thought that was funny. I was like, I hear you, but it totally grew on us because the character was so hateable. That was like, it worked. It just worked really well for it. But while Dean is focused on stabbing and corkscrewing Alastair with the knife, what we see now in the background is like a spigot, the handle of a faucet or something, a spigot on a fire suppression system or something.
Yes, it's being loosened so the water can run. And then part of the pipe is being loosened so it can slowly drip onto the border of the Devil's Trap. Back to Cass, we see him watch a light bulb burst as Anna enters the room. Yep. Oh, Anna, hi.
Anna,
knew she was coming because she was in the recap. Yeah, this was a weird little
admission that we didn't need. Yeah.
That we didn't. Exactly. I was like, I would not have even thought anything about her. Yeah, she's back. She's an angel. She has powers. She could, this happens all the time. But instead it was like, I called in a few favors. But if she's on death row, essentially, which Cass says literally a few seconds later, who would she be calling for old favors? I mean, it made me ask more questions than it was necessary.
It's one of the, it took me out of it. That's why I get so frustrated when that happens, because I'm like, let me just watch the episode.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, what?
Yeah. Instead of like, Anna, what are you doing here? That's all you needed.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway. Nice body. Okay.
Yeah. So Cass is like, Dina's doing God's work. And she's like, how is this God's work? How is torture part of the divine plan?
Right.
You're making this good guy go back to the hell that he is in.
Yeah. Look at what you're doing to Dean.
Yeah.
How is this the will of God? Right. And she tries to she sees that Cass is wavering just a little bit. Yeah. And she tries to step in and be like, we can fix this.
She's like, what you're feeling is doubt. And she's trying to pull out more doubt from him to say,
and you and
if you have questions, question even more.
Yeah. Ask me, I can help you. You and I can, work on this, or and Cass pulls back. He's like, I'm not you. I am not like you. You fell. I'm not a doubter. And I was like, oh, Cass, so close.
I know.
So close to a redemption.
I know.
And she's like, okay, I guess I'm, you want nothing to do with me. I am not, worthy.
Yeah, you're just a fallen angel. It's a slur of some kind, I guess. Yeah. But she leaves. And then we're back to Dean and Alastair. He's been splashing him with holy water a lot. And Alastair's in rough shape.
I have to say, he's still freaking funny, though. I know we said that there was no humor in this episode, except Alastair is pretty funny. And he knows show tunes, by the way. But at this point where Dean pulls the knife, right? Dean pulls the demon blade out of him, and Alastair, once the blade is out, I was like, you're just not getting deep enough. And I was like, oh my God. That's actually uncomfortably funny.
Yeah.
I was like, that's funny.
Yeah. So in this torture, Alastair is leaking out more information, but it's not the one that Dean is searching for.
Yeah.
It's not the name of the demon that's doing this stuff. It's about other things the audience needs to know.
I wrote down, he's dropping all sorts of plot nuggets is what I wrote down.
That's what he's doing.
That's right, plot nuggets. You have no idea what you really did for us in hell.
Yes, but Lilith wanted you there in the first place.
The real reason Lilith wanted you there in the first place. And Dean's still not, I mean, he's listening, but he's still focused on the torture. He's not letting Alastair get to him. This next round of torture was horrific.
Yeah.
I mean, really bad. He takes salt and essentially funnels it directly down Alastair's throat, grabs his face, opens his jaw, and just pours salt directly down his gullet.
Yeah.
And the gurgling and burning and bubbling coming out of Alastair. Again, we hear the screams from outside the room.
But you even see the funnel going down into his throat a little bit, and Alastair's face just writhing in pain. Yes, these were very effective torture scenes, and I'm questioning some of the mental stability in these writers in putting these together.
Well, I hate to admit this, but the effect of him choking and being burned by this and blood coming out of his mouth was very much of the, did you ever have to make a volcano in science class with baking soda and vinegar?
What they did. Yeah,
I was
frothy,
like, oh my God, the frothy
thing.
red bubbly. I was like, oh my God, it's science class again.
Yeah, essentially. So what was actually being poured down his throat, I mean, obviously it wasn't as much, but he did get a little bit in his mouth, was sugar. And all of the blood is that chocolate syrup blood.
Blood, yep.
So he was just like, the actor, Chris, was like, I was just so filled with sugar this whole day, you know, and you're just like, ooh, really shaky with all of that sugar.
So when his eyes are vibrating, it was actually just sugar. Oh my God, too funny. So coming out of that, another humorous moment as Alastair is choking and gagging and spitting blood and stuff. He's like, sorry, hold on. I think I've got something in my throat. Oh, maybe it's my throat. It's like spitting out flesh. I know. That's something in my throat. I think it's my throat.
Yeah.
Funny.
And then after this is when we get to the meat of this act, which was act 2 or 3 maybe. But Alastair, in a nicely done monologue, I will say, slowly leaks out that all of this seal business was started with Dean. That it was supposed to be the father, as you said before, but since he never actually made the move over, with this offer that he made every single night was for a purpose. And then John never accepted the offer. But then when Dean made the offer, that was the first seal in these Lilith 66 seals business.
Yeah. So Dean accepting Alastair's offer to get off the rack and torture souls on his own was when the first seal broke.
Yes. And Dean, this is what stops Dean in his little methodical prep. You know, he stops.
Was so good in this.
It was so good. Oh my God. It was just the most subtle little look in his eye. Of he processed so many different emotions, like it was like disbelief. He heard it, he felt it, and then it was denial, and then he said, no, you're lying. And then Alastair in this nice little line. I really like how they make this seal language very poetic, because Sam said something in the previous episode too that I really liked. But and it is written that the first seal shall be broken when a righteous man sheds blood in hell. As he breaks, so shall it break.
Brilliant, because Alastair dropped all his facade and he just said this straight out. No more games. This is what it is. Yeah, brilliant. Both of them. Yeah. Both of them. And us as watching, we're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So a number of things. One, you know, a righteous man, Dean, question mark. You know, I'm sure that's what Dean is thinking. A, righteous man, me.
Yeah.
And then B, I did this. All of this, all these seals breaking, the coming of, you know, the apocalypse is my fault.
Right. Because then Dean turns away. You know, he's like, whoa. He has to process this. And he turns his back to Alastair. Now he can't hold up the facade anymore of being strong. And Alastair just keeps going. He's just like, this apocalypse. This very specific first seal had to be broken before we could move on to the others. It had to be this one. It's not like there are thousands of other seals, that they've mentioned before, and it could be any of them that are part of the 66.
This very specific.
Yeah.
We owe it all to you, Dean Winchester.
Yes, when we win and when we burn this earth to the ground, we will have you to thank.
Yeah. So we start to see Dean taking all this in and realizing that because of his weakness, his failures, the apocalypse is possible.
Yeah.
That's how Dean is seeing this.
Yeah, I even wrote Dean is, and no pun or cheekiness intended, I said Dean processing all of this is heavenly. Like how Jensen is doing it, I should say.
Yeah.
Alastair says, I wouldn't lie about this. This is, poetic and religious to me. As he's saying this, Alastair turns back and he sees that the drip of water has now broken the devil's trap. There is a little break in the line on the floor.
And the chalk.
Yeah.
I was like, Mike, maybe get better paint.
Yeah. Burn it into the ground, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe.
But...
Yeah. My heart broke for Dean in this, by the way. Like watching his hero's facade falter, like his hero-ness, I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. While we see that Alastair has noticed the trap is broken, Dean doesn't see this. And
because his back is still turned
back into him. But Alastair breaks free and does essentially like the old tap on the shoulder, tap, tap, here I am, and proceeds to beat Dean senseless.
Yes, because Dean in this, at the end of this, he makes the decision to stop this torture mission and just kill him. He says, okay, I believe you, but you're not going to be alive to see your fruits of my labor.
Yes,
I guess.
Exactly. Yeah, what you're saying may be true, but it doesn't matter because...
Yeah, but you're done now.
Yeah.
But as he goes for the kill, that's when, yes, tap, tap, hey. And then starts to choke him out against his own restraints.
Yeah. And Castiel breaks in.
Yes, he is last minute hero number one to save the day, and stabs Alastair in the back right as Alastair is about to choke Dean
to death. And I guess I'm assuming send him back to hell. Send Dean
he
back
even
to
says
hell
like,
I'll
see you there later, maybe.
Yep. But so Castiel doesn't stab him to death, just stabs him enough to distract him.
Yes.
But Alastair's able to pull the blade out, and he's like, once again,
you missed.
You guys couldn't kill me. Now, huge prop note here. Alastair gets the upper hand on Castiel, right? So he pulls the knife out, and now he's fighting Castiel fist to fist. Grabs Castiel and slams him up against a post that's in the room. Did you see what was on the post?
Is it rebar?
It is.
Wow.
It is the rebar, and I'll leave it at that. It is the exact same prop, the exact same piece of scenery. And I'll just leave it there. So here's a weird thing. So Castiel gets slammed against this wall and basically hoisted, gaffed on this hook. Yeah. And so, he can't move. He's powerless now against Alastair, who he starts to call to expel Castiel.
He does an angelic exorcism, essentially. But before that, he even says, I wish I knew how to kill you.
Yeah, but I guess I'll just send you back to heaven instead.
Yeah.
Meaning I'll cast you out of your body like you always do to us.
Yeah.
And he starts this
Latin thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's calling to God. I did the Latin translation. Yeah. He is calling to God to expel the angel out of him. And it starts to work. You start to see Castiel's, we now know it's his
grace.
Their grace. So it's like a white blue light that's starting to pull out of his mouth and his eyes. And Castiel seems powerless to stop it.
Yes. And then Sam steps in as the second last minute hero of the day.
Deus ex machina.
Because Al starts choking on his words and then gets thrown back into the wall, and then in comes Sam into the shot with his hand out. And now Sam is the one doing the interrogating. Yep. And it takes no time flat for him to, like, he starts like gripping the air and doing something to Alastair's demon,
some psychic gripping
form in the inside. And you can see and hear Alastair's voice and demeanor change from his usually do not pass go, do not pass $200 to like
he's like, not joking anymore.
I don't know what's going on. It's not us. You know.
Lilith wouldn't kill an angel, wouldn't kill 7. She would kill hundreds of angels.
Yeah, it's like if she knew how to do this, she would wipe them out essentially. Yeah. So this is not us.
Demons are not killing the angels. But that doesn't stop Sam.
No, he pauses for a second, and Alastair is resigned to go back to hell, and Sam's like, not this time. And goes into super focus, holds his hand out, and says, I can kill you now. Yeah. And he does. And this death scene of this demon is amazing.
Choking and burning from the inside out.
Yes, and you can see the skeleton, and the actor did a really good job, I think, of physically portraying what was happening inside of him without knowing, probably what
the effect is going to
be.
Yeah.
But it's like what the demon blade does, or even what the gun did, to vampires and stuff, but like on an extra powerful level. It's super bright, it's super long, it's super buzzy, it's super,
horrific. And the only thing it didn't do was like explode his body. That's the one effect they didn't do. So Alastair, the demon, is dead, and his body, his meat suit, is also way dead.
Yeah. And then the whole time throughout this, Cass is just looking at Sam. Misha did a really good job too in this episode, portraying all of these feelings in for a being that is not really supposed to have a lot of feelings.
It was more like a wonderment.
It was a bunch of different things. It was like horror. It was disbelief. It was disdain. It was like, wow, it was, it was a lot of things just in looking at Sam pull this off in literally 1 minute.
Yeah. No nosebleeds like Sam usually gets when he tries really hard.
No like faces, where he's crunching up and in pain. And
no effort at all.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Cass is like, what'd you do? He didn't say
but
that.
But doesn't address it. Doesn't address it for this whole episode. In fact, the next section of this episode is Sam watching over Dean at the hospital, who was knocked completely out by Alastair. So he was not awake for any of this. He's still kind of not awake. He's like on an intravenous.
He's got a tube, and he's got
He's in enough shape. And Cass drops by the hospital. Sam goes to talk to him in the hall, and essentially he just yells at Cass the whole time.
He blames him.
Yeah, he orders him to cure Dean, and Cass either can't or refuses.
Right.
He shames his devil trap skills.
Right.
And he lectures as Dean does later too.
Get in there, miracle now. Let's go. Chop chop, come Mr. Angel.
Let's go. And lectures that all of this was pointless anyway, since the demons weren't the ones doing this. Like, he believes Alastair. He's like, no. I know that Alastair was telling the truth.
Yeah, and Cass is like, well, maybe he's lying. And Sam's like, no,
he wasn't.
No, we did the thing you needed Dean to do, and the answer is it's not the demons.
Yeah. So you put him through hell. You've almost killed him, both mentally and physically, for nothing. Yeah. So get the fuck out.
Exactly. Like, fuck off.
Yeah.
So he does. And he fucks off to where Uriel's been at a playground. And I know that there's a theme about children's playgrounds and angels and stuff.
There's like a weird meetup kind of. There's something about this meetup point that I think maybe we learn later, and I can't remember.
The innocence of children. I don't know.
Whatever.
But so Uriel has been finding revelation at this playground, and he's like, but we're not getting any. We're not getting orders that I thought we'd be getting.
Yeah.
At this point, like, why aren't we being told to go after the demons that are killing our angels?
Yeah.
And at first I misunderstood Uriel, but then I was like, oh no, he actually is saying, why aren't we being told to go and do this?
Yeah, like they're telling us to stop hunting the demon that are killing our brethren. Why would they want us to do that? And Cass mentions it's actually not a demon, it's something else. Yeah. But we haven't been given the order to go find the something else. Both of them are kind of like, what's happening? Why are we being given this order to stop? And also a doubt of maybe it's not actually God giving these orders.
Yep. And Uriel's like, nope, that can't be the answer. And he leaves.
Yeah, he bails. He's like,
he's gone.
I'm out.
Yeah. So Cass, being left with no other options, calls out for Anna. And Anna does appear and is like, oh, so now you're not so disgusted by me because, you need help.
Yeah.
And
which good for her. She's like, oh, I'm just only here when you need me.
And again, though, he disparages her and she gives him an opportunity to come along, and he still doesn't. She gives him the answer in her way.
He asks for her help. He's like, I need help. I need to be told what to do. Like, what do I do? And she's like, I can't give you that answer. You have to start thinking for yourself.
Right. Which I thought was funny that she says, it's time for you to think for yourself, telling him what to do. Yeah. In saying think for yourself, she is telling him what to do. So a little bit of irony there. I thought that was kind of...
Yeah. But I think it's also this is showing Cass as somebody who needs a leader, kind of. Yeah. He needs God, or he needs somebody.
Yeah, a superior.
Somebody to lean his faith on, or his fate on. And she's like, no, you need to stand on your own. Yeah. She disappears. He kind of looks around, and then he spots a spigot that's on the side of a water fountain or something.
Yeah.
And then it's like I wonder. And he goes back to the meatpacking plant that Alastair's holding cell, kind of walks around looking for clues, and he finds it. He finds the broken part of the trap, follows the lead there, and sees the spigot off to the side that has been loosened, and he closes it with his angel powers.
Now, I didn't see any of this coming, this next scene. I just thought that the episode was ending.
There's so much of this episode I forgot, like main plot points that I forgot. Shame on me.
I was like, oh, there's more.
Yeah. Well, more. when you even when I was pausing and taking notes and looking at the rest of the time that was left of the episode, it's like 10 minutes at this point.
It's like, holy crap, what else are they going to put in this episode?
Yeah.
And here's what they put in the episode.
Yeah. Uriel appears and he's like, will you stand with me, brother? And Cass is thinking out loud. He's like, you know what? This devil's trap was very powerful, and there's no way that a demon could have escaped, meaning there's no way a demon could have used their demon powers
to overpower an angel's work.
Yes, like it would not have crossed the line. So Alastair would not have been able to turn the knob.
Yeah.
And then Uriel lays out this revelation of the only thing that can kill an angel, swing, is another angel.
Introducing
an
angel blade.
Yeah.
Yes. So the angel blade becomes canon. It's like a silver 4-pointed blade, it seems like, or like a dagger, but not a flat blade. It's like
I see what you mean, like 4 bevels or something like that, like a star-shaped blade.
And they always appear out of people's sleeves, just so you know. It actually, the original, at one point they call it like Lucifer's blade, I think.
I don't remember, to be honest.
Sword of Lucifer is, I think, what they started to call it was the Sword of Lucifer, because it's something that can kill angels. But then it just became the angel blade.
Angel blade. But it's not called anything at this point. Right now, it's just a
new
shiny swing that Uriel pulls out of his sleeve.
All silver and shiny and angelic and deadly looking.
Yes.
And Shwing,
the exact opposite of the demon blade, where it's like rugged gnarly. And jagged and gnarly. Yes.
Yeah. Carved. Yeah. Yeah.
So here's Uriel's monologue in a nutshell. He hates it on Earth. He hates this mission, and he especially hates humans. And he was the one who loosened the pipe in order to break the seal, hoping that Alastair would escape and then kill Dean and actively pursue this apocalypse and successfully setting it in motion.
Right. While also taking the blame. Like, demons could still be blamed for all the death, not just, humans, but the death of angels. That demons would still be blamed for everything going wrong.
So this means that Uriel he was lying about the whole thing, about this whole mission of, we need to find the demon that's killing our brethren.
Yeah. Nope.
No, it was just him trying to find a scapegoat. But Alastair never should have been captured. Also, he said that we should have just freaking killed him. I don't understand why we were holding him. So I guess that's why he devised this plan of, let's just get Dean in to torture him, and then we'll make it look like he escaped, kill Dean, yay. It's nothing more that Uriel wants than a dead Dean.
God isn't God anymore.
God isn't God anymore, and he wants to free his brother Lucifer. Yeah. So Uriel is on Lucifer's side in that, humans are disgusting. How dare God create them? And now they're God's favorites instead of us, who are his first creations. And it's a lot. It was a lot in a short amount of time.
And what he was trying to do was actually turn all the other angels to his side.
Yeah.
And so all the angels that died are the ones that said no.
Yeah.
Which means there are angels who said yes and sided with Uriel. So now there's good versus evil.
Within the good
in
side.
the angel realm. Yeah. But he's still trying to convince Cass, don't be afraid. Come with us.
Yes. It's like he doesn't want to kill Cass.
Right.
He likes Cass, and he's like, please join our side. I do not want to fight against you or kill you. And Cass says no in the way of throwing Uriel against the wall.
Right. But before he does that, because I just want to point out that Uriel says, don't be afraid. And Cass kind of stands up and he says, this is the first time I'm not afraid. And then slams Uriel through a wall.
Yeah. And then they brawl. And I love Cass's face of shock at how much this actually hurts. He's not used to fighting against his own or, on the same level of him. He's like, holy shit, this fucking hurts.
Yeah. But he still manages to get back up. And
he holds his own for a while, but then Uriel does get the upper hand and is just pounding into him. And each punch is a line. It's like, there is no wrath, there is no will, there is no fate, there is no God. And then Anna steps in as the third last minute hero of the day.
Yep.
And stabs Uriel through the throat and makes some sort of proclamation of, there's no God, but there is me.
There's me.
Okay.
Uriel explodes angelically.
Yes. We see an angel death in real time now.
Yes.
Where it's almost like a pause. So the body falls down on the ground, and then the angel inside,
explodes out.
Oh, yeah. Blows out. And now we kind of realize why the cars were all fucked up in the beginning. It wasn't a car
accident.
It was just parked cars along the side of the road that got blown up into the air with this blue light.
Yes, because you see this buildup of white blue light starting to come out of Uriel's eyes and mouth and stuff, and then the camera pulls back to outside of the meatpacking plant, and you see lights exploding outside, and you see this fantastic flash of light from inside the packing plant. And it's like, he exploded.
Yes, it's almost like an atomic bomb a little bit, where it does the little swing out and then up. Yeah, describing that terribly. I'm sorry.
A little mushroom cloud of angelic foofdom. And then camera comes back inside with Anna and Castiel now standing over the dead corpse of Uriel, who now is lying on the burnt out angel wings that are now burnt into the ground.
Yeah, so it's not just the human body that's dead, it's the angel on the inside. And now our epilogue act, our final act. Cass is talking with Dean in the hospital, who is awake but barely. Cass tells Dean that Uriel ended up being a double agent, essentially, and he was the one who broke the trap. And Dean shames him also for his
you need
his
to learn to build a better trap. Yeah, because Cass is like, you need to be more careful, and Dean's like, you need to build a better trap.
Yeah,
you know, what the hell? Get off my back.
And here we find out a little bit more why they dragged Dean out of hell. They were trying to get to him before Lilith did.
And before he broke the seal. They laid siege to hell. I love that line. When they found out what was happening, the angels laid siege to hell to get to him before this happened. Yeah. But
they were too late. And Dean is like, well, why didn't you just leave me there? That this whole Jensen again was terrific, because he's like, is it true?
Am I to blame?
Here he asks, am I to blame? Is it my fault? And Cass says, we took you because the righteous man who begins it is the only one who can finish it. So the person who broke the first seal has to be the one who ends it and can stop it.
And Dean, is like, oh, Lucifer, the apocalypse, this is now my battle.
Yeah.
And he says, I can't get somebody else. I can't.
Yeah, I can't. It's too big. I can't do
too
this.
Much. Yeah.
My brother was right. Alastair was right. I am not strong enough, and I am not whole. There is a part of me still in hell, and I
failed my father.
Yeah.
I failed you.
Your father.
It's like, your father. I am not this righteous man that everyone made me out to be. And once again, Dean has no choice. He's been put in these situations as a pawn, and so he's fighting battles that now he can't win.
Yeah, and they say, I think early on in the episode, stop treating us like little chess pieces in your game. And so now he's, instead of angrily saying it, he's like, you have to find somebody else. I cannot do it.
It's not me.
And the episode ends there with
on
Dean
a beautiful
a
beautiful moment of Dean in his broken and battered body in a hospital room, and he just says, I can't, and he turns away, and there's like that beautiful single glistening tear,
single man tear.
And it's like, my heart breaks, because Dean there's admitting defeat, admitting that you can't do it, knowing that you can't do it, so there's that, not being able to be the hero, but also being let down by all the people who were supposed to. Cass should have been there to help him, and it's like Dean doesn't know that Sam, ended up saving the day, but he's alone and he's broken and he can't do it. He can't go on. So it's like so much weight. Once again, Dean is saddled with the guilt and the actual physical pain of being nearly beaten to death by his fate and by Alastair. I mean,
I know.
Such a heavy episode, and it was so well done. Well done.
It was, but I also think, and maybe this was just because I was taking notes, which is not a normal thing to do when you're watching TV, is this easily could have been 2 episodes, like a 2-parter mid-season thing. I would have been happy with that. But yes, very well done. And I only say that just because there was so much information going on.
So much.
But maybe had I just been like watching it, I probably would have been a little bit more enthralled in the action and glued to the TV, and then be like, what's happening next? Because there are so many questions now where it's like, oh, no one said anything to Sam about, like, what is this newfound power that you now all of a sudden have? You can kill a super strong demon like Alastair, no problem. I feel like Cass would have said, hey, about that thing you did earlier.
P.S. You talk in the hallway with me here? So so when that episode ended, there was, you're just left with this weight, of Dean. But then, like you said, it was like, but hey, what about that that whole other
the Sam thing. What's going on with Sam? Is Dean gonna find out, or he will find out? But when is he gonna find out? Is Cass gonna tell him? Is Sam gonna tell him? Is this how's that gonna go over? Not well. We know that's not gonna go over well.
And is Dean gonna ever be Dean? Is Dean ever gonna be strong enough and have the confidence?
Yeah.
And, because again, this is a whole reversal of characters. Sam's the hero, even though Dean tried, he failed.
Yeah.
So he doesn't get to be the Dean hero, who punches out the bad guy, while Sam, because Sam in the first season, like he was always the one who got punched and knocked down, right? So just
for a while. I feel like in the past couple seasons they've been very equal in their
but
heroicness.
Just in the beginning, it was Big Brother coming to Little Brother's rescue. Yeah, and now it's not.
Yeah,
and it's.
I have to admit, I totally forgot about the Dean part of the equation, the Dean part of the seal equation.
Oh, me too.
I forgot that he was a seal.
Yeah. Because I know that it becomes a line that said that the Winchesters are responsible for the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Like it over and over throughout the history of Supernatural. That's just something that's said. I never
and it is because of, and I don't want to say too much, going in, the next season is going to get into it more, but I have a lot of thoughts now about it. I will not get into it now.
Yeah, I know. See, we shouldn't have watched the whole series first.
I know.
What were we thinking?
I know, but man, A plus for this episode. Yeah. I was enthralled. I did not want to take notes, and I had to.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I was the same way. So, A plus. I mean, this was a really deep, dark, frantic episode.
Yep,
and I don't feel like it glossed over anything. It didn't like button ending on something. I was like, okay, I want to watch the next one. It's like I kind of had to cleanse my palate a little bit. I was like, I need to watch the next one.
Yeah. I didn't. But speaking of the next one,
yes,
it would be the next one is called "It's a Terrible Life."
Gee, I wonder what that's in reference to.
I know.
It's a Terrible Life.
Oh, this one. I just read the description. I was like, oh boy, this is definitely a palate cleanser. Did you watch it yet?
I did.
Oh, okay.
I did. I had to. I was like, I can't leave it like this.
Yeah. Like, wow, what a 180 going from from this one to the next one.
Yeah. It's good though.
Okay, so I think we're going to wrap it up just because you got to go pretty soon and we're running out of time. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you could please subscribe, rate us anywhere you can find podcasts and where they allow that feature, that would be a huge help. If you could share us with friends who are also Supernatural fans, that would be fun too. You can find us on all social media. We are at Salt and Burn This everywhere. We're on YouTube. You can listen to us there. There's playlists for all the seasons. They're almost complete. Getting there.
Almost.
And thank you for joining us on this episode. We will see you next time for It's a Terrible Life. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Okay. Bye.